Hello everybody. I want to start today's video by thanking you for sending me so many interesting stories to read. There were some heart-touching stories, there were some funny stories, there were some really scary stories, there was all sorts of interesting stuff to read. And as your instructor, it's a great joy for me to read these and make the connection to what we're going to do next, which is make that switch over from writing the informal stories and the informal description to the more formal academic writing styles. I've given you personal feedback on each one of your essays, and the theme of that feedback is there is a direct connection between writing a story and writing a research paper, which has to do with developing a theme in a story or developing a thesis in a research paper. Let me pause for a minute and say, the icebreaker assignments had a real important function in this class, and that is to just not be afraid of writing, to not always be thinking about grades, and to just write for the pleasure of writing. I'd like to be able to transfer that over to your research paper too. You've all selected a topic that you care about, and if you can get to the point where you're writing and you're not afraid of me grading you, you'll be a better writer. There's a couple of different ways we can accomplish that. One is to know that I want you to succeed and that you'll have the opportunity to revise anything that you're writing now later in the semester if it doesn't get to the expectations you have for a high rubric score. So there's a lot of different ways to accomplish that, and one of them is to organize your writing. And we have started studying organizing devices this week. I have a video about this from the television series and a chapter that I'd like you to read. And also, I'd like you to think about how you approach organizing, because as you see in this video, everybody has a different way of doing it. You're already actually participating in an organizing device of sorts as you're doing the brainstorming exercise for the third essay. And let's take a look at the website. I'm going to share our screen here for a minute. In case you haven't figured this out yet, there's a student in our class named Johnny B. Good. John B. Good. That's me. There is not really a student named John B. Good. And for those of you who are not familiar with Chuck Berry, look up this song. John's view of the course looks kind of like yours. And in week 7, that's where you are right now. You just clicked this page, and I know you did because you're watching this video. And this is going to give you kind of an overview of what we're doing this week. Then we're going to do these exercises. We're going to read the chapter about organizing devices, and we're going to watch the television program. For those of you who haven't figured out what this is down here, by the way, that's a QR code. And if you just flash your cell phone over that, yeah, I've got my cell phone right here. If I was just to take my cell phone, pop it over that, the video pops up on your phone. But of course, you can also click here and the video will come up. Go back to our home page and see what the rest of the week is like. In week 7, after you do that, we have a discussion thread about the program and chapter organizing devices. When you participate in that discussion thread, please quote at least one person from the chapter or the television program so I know you're actually watching and reading, okay? We have some resources after that. The Ask a Librarian service. You are working on your third essay right now. I really want you to have some solid evidence in that essay to support your thesis. And one great way to do it is to go to the library. Click on this link I've given you right here. The Ask a Librarian service is amazing. If you, it has all these interesting pop-ups here, but go down to the Ask a Librarian link right here, and you type in something like, I would like to find a quote from a peer-reviewed journal about life on Mars or something like that. Then sometimes there's a person there in person, especially if you're doing it during the day and it's during regular working hours. But if they're not there, you can ask them to send you an email and give them your email address, and they will help you find resources that will, help you with the paper that you're developing. So that's a really great approach to research. On top of the electronic library skills that you have already developed. Um, and we had those exercises, of course, on the electronic library skills. And I asked you to apply that to your own papers. And you know, you may still need some help, but don't revert back to just using Google to do a search. That's not really academically sound. We want to learn our way around the library, okay? Um, Back to the rest of week 7 then. There's a video that I made about peer-reviewed journals. Watch this. There's a little Easter egg at the end of the video. It features me talking to you about what a peer-reviewed journal is. That is the gold standard of evidence. And I will not give an A on the final research paper to a student unless you have at least one piece of evidence from a peer-reviewed journal, okay? The quiz and review section here, there's a reading assignment about MLA style. I already gave that to you in a previous week, but it's so important. I want you to read it again and watch the videos again. One of the videos in here is from the Purdue OWL, Online Learning, OWL, oh boy, Online Writing and Learning Resource, I believe. I'll have to look that up again. Or maybe edit this and get the real name in there. Anyway, oh, I know what it is. The Purdue Online Writing Lab. All right, so these quizzes, don't worry too much about the grade, okay? The grade, you could fail these quizzes and still get an A in the course. That's not the point. The point is to review the material and learn. I'll let you in on a little secret, okay? You see all my instruments back here. Musicians, artists, writers like you, learn from our mistakes. It's okay to make a mistake. We're so worried about grades all the time that we don't allow ourselves to make mistakes. And then what happens is you don't learn as much. So try to learn from your mistakes. If you make a mistake in MLA style, take a look at the quiz and find out what the right answer is, and that will help you avoid that same mistake when you're writing a paper. And if you're really having a lot of problems with MLA style, don't forget, I've encouraged you to work with the Writing Center. I've offered extensions on your paper if you work with the Writing Center, and the Writing Center tutors and team teachers will be able to help you with MLA style. That's the best way to study MLA style. I have a review quiz of material that I provided you about definition essays. That's the essay number 3 you're working on right now. And then, of course, I've got the editing chapters, which are always floating down here. And one way that I want you to approach those chapters, I don't want you to watch all 3 of them if you're already pretty good at grammar and punctuation. But if you see a distinctive pattern of errors in the feedback that I've been giving you on your first 2 essays, this is a really good resource because you can go in here and zero in. Let's say you have a problem with apostrophes, okay? Look at the section about editing mechanics that has instruction about apostrophe rules, or if you're having problems with comma splices, those are very, very common, then those are in the editing sentences chapter, okay? And I really like as a goal for you to develop a personal editing checklist by the end of the semester. We all have problems that are repetitive in our writing kind of tendencies. I have a tendency in my own writing to use the same word 5 times in a paragraph because I get so hung up on that word. I know that, so I go through my copy and I check for redundancies like that. Everybody, it doesn't matter how experienced you are as a writer, should have a personal editing checklist where you go over your manuscript at the very end before you turn it in for a grade and see if you're making those errors and learn how to detect and correct those errors, okay? That's an awful lot for one video. I think I'm gonna close it off right now with my usual, try to have fun with this. Don't approach it as just jumping through hoops to earn a grade. You know, if you're not having any fun, you're not really learning. So you are writing a research paper topic about a research paper topic that you care about, hopefully. And, you know, if you just get into it and think about that instead of what is my grade going to be, it'll be much easier. And don't forget, if you're really worried about your grade, work with the Writing Center, work on multiple revisions. Send me an email if you're having problems. Set up a Zoom appointment if you want to with me. I'm always here to help you succeed. See you later.